going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now,
Jimothy.
So ladies and gents, we are back, and before we get into this video, if you're wondering why I'm sitting here in my coat, is because I'm about to go to the gym. Yes, ladies and gents, I do love training, and if you want to see a little bit of a different type of content from your boy, what I do at the gym, let me know in that comment section below. And quick question: when do you take down your Christmas tree? Why is it still up? It's about to go down at some point, but yeah, just interesting to know. But anyway, we are here, ladies and gents. We are back with live twin Spright, and boy oh boy, do I really want to take this deck to locals and potentially even a few regionals coming up. Now, I've always loved live twins. I used to play it back in the day. I took it to a couple of regionals before, and I did pretty well with it. Barring my own misplay, I could have potentially even topped, which is one of my goals for 2024, by the way. I'm looking to top a regional, or even just take the regional first place position, but that is for another video, ladies and gents. But as I was saying, I love live twins. I love the way that the deck plays. I'm very fond of the deck. It's a very simplistic play style. However, it does allow you to express yourself through decision making, as well as knowing when to interact with your opponent. Now, independently, I don't feel like the live twin engine itself is strong enough to go up against some of the meta decks that are out there at the moment, just because of the way the nature of the deck works. It does have a lot of space for hand traps if you play a purer variant, but that is not always the way to go, and your engine is very easily stopped. That's where we introduce Spright, ladies and gents. Now, Sprights just complement this like holistically. It's crazy how much that it does for the live twin engines, as well as vice versa, to be honest. Now, typically what you want to do is kind of like start off your plays with your live twin engine. If you don't get access to any of your twins, then it's very easy to get the other one out of the deck with gigantic Spright. And more times than not, your opponent's going to interact with your normal summon, which is very easily negated. In fact, that's probably what you're going to be using for bait. Your normal summon is going to get hit by an Ash, an Imperm, something along those lines. And if your opponent doesn't interact with that, then they're off to a bad start, because with Spright starter now being at 3, you can easily extend past your normal summon. Like it's not even questionable basically how far you can go without your normal summon. So yeah, it's really nice. I mean, once you've gone through a few live twin plays, you will lock yourself into the extra deck, so there's a little bit of sequencing that you have to get used to, but nevertheless, it's super strong strategy, especially as each other complements. Now, if you can see some of the replays in the background, like, this deck is able to grind, and that brings me on to why I didn't really want to just play pure Spright. Pure Spright is strong, very strong. The end board that it puts up is decent, but the thing that really gets to me about pure Spright, which is probably why Spright Alpha was banned, but Spright Alpha was designed the way that it was, is because Spright don't typically have good follow-up. You typically blow your whole hand trying to like set up a board, and if that board gets cracked for any reason, then you're at a very clear disadvantage, because your Spright cards themselves don't jump out of the graveyard. They don't facilitate any kind of like recursion, apart from just basically going through your Spright plays once again. However, with the live twin engine, that actually happens. You can actually do that. The live twin links revive each other from graveyard, and you can just literally play. You can pop, you can draw, and the way that this deck is designed is to kind of like draw through a lot of your deck for over a couple of turns. Typically, you're going to draw 2 on your opponent's turn. You're going to draw like 1 on your turn, but you're going to search a whole load of cards on your initial turn and set up a bit of an intimidating board. Smashes is still a card, so you got that option to kind of like non-targeting banish a card in the field, which can get rid of like floodgates, problematic boss monsters. I still play Gamma Burst. I think Gamma Burst is just, is an absolute must, which is what I'll do when I talk about the deck list. But all in all, ladies and gents, the reason why they complement each other, live twins gives you that grind game, as well as Spright just being a very oppressive board that it sets up, especially with the Spright trap, which I cannot remember its name for the life of me. Stealing an opponent's monster and putting it in the zone that your link monster points to, or just tucking it under your XYZ monster, is just absolutely crazy. And not to mention Mannequin Cat being a secret tech. Now, I'm actually kind of like looking for ways to abuse Mannequin Cat even more. I've settled on Archlord Christia, which is obviously a bit of a problematic card for most decks in the meta. But in saying that, it also allows me to kind of like play other decks, which I haven't actually toyed about with yet. There are a few flex spots in the deck. I've got an Hyperia in there just to kind of like draw off a card, just because sometimes I go into Gigantic Spright and there's a little bit of space or a little bit of time or a little bit of maneuverability that I can do because I've got my whole engine online anyway. So I'll just summon Hyperia for yet another draw, which is just fantastic. But anyway, ladies and gents, that is my thoughts on Live Twins. I'm going to be taking this to locals. This build that you're seeing right now is definitely like a preliminary build. There's a few things that I want to include in the deck that I haven't actually thought about just yet because, like I said, I'm only testing, and it's got me excited just because I get to play Live Twins again. If you didn't know, it was one of my top 5 favorite decks when I went to Nats, or yeah, it was Nats. I actually entered the side event and actually won a Live Twin mat. That was my whole idea behind going into the side event, and actually got 2nd place with Mathmech, by the way, RIP Circular. But yeah, nevertheless, we'll get into the deck list, ladies and gents, so you can see you can see a look at what I'm actually running and some of the ratios. Okay, ladies and gents, we are back with the deck list. Here it is, so to speak. Live Twin Spright, again, like I said, this is testing. There's a few issues with the deck that I could potentially change. But with more testing, I'll kind of like make this deck a little bit more refined, so to speak. So we got triple Ash Blossom, again, strong card. You know how it goes, ladies and gents. We got 1 Pixies. I do value Pixies mainly because my locals is a little bit weird, to be honest. It plays a lot of like random cards, like I don't know, Psychic End Punisher, for example. So I need to be able to get over that card, and battle is probably the best way to do so. But yeah, I do value Pixies. It's easily sided out. It's easily taken out if you wanted to put something more optimal in the deck. But I like Pixies. Triple Jet, 1 red, triple blue, 1 carrot, as well as the Hyperia. Now the Spright engine I feel like is almost like standard at this point, especially with Live Twins, apart from the Pixies, which again, I said you can change that out if you want to. I just like it. The Hyperia I've put in mainly because sometimes off Gigantic Spright you want to summon something and you've already got both engines online, so the Hyperia is nice just because it gives you a draw. It's just as simple as that, and this deck wants to draw. You can actually up your hand trap count if you wanted to, but it kind of takes away from being able to play the game, basically. And I feel like the ratios are okay. Sometimes you consistently see at least 1 hand trap every like 2 to 3 hands. Sometimes you see 2, but yeah. For the Live Twin engine, ladies and gents, it feels so good to just play this deck again. We got Live Twin Kiss a Kill and 1 Frost. Frost is busted just because it gives you another draw on your opponent's turn if you got one of the links up, which makes Live Twin Leela, which is also a 3 of, probably the best out of the main deck Live Twin monsters, mainly because it can just grab Frost out of the deck, which is nice. So Leela is nice. I'm also running triple Effect Veiler. Now, I was actually thinking about playing the blue Live Twin Extender. I can't remember what his name was. Leela something. But anyway, the other blue one. But I don't know. It's not as useful as Frost. And sometimes off my Trouble Sunny, I do want to search the Extender. But it's, yeah, like I said, more testing, I'll be able to definitely give you an answer on that. Like I said, triple Veiler, double triple Tactics talent. This card's just, yeah, talents is just silly. 1 Monster Reborn now. Now, with Monster Reborn, I find that it can actually just bring you back into the game. There's been a few times when I've used Monster Reborn to reborn the Evil Twin Trouble Sunny. Trouble Sunny's used the effect to tag out and bring back the 2 Evil Twin Link Monsters out of the graveyard, pop in a draw, and I'm back in the game off 1 card, which is just absolutely crazy. You can also bring back Spright Blue to proc its effect, Spright Jet, whatever you need, ladies and gents. It's just busted. Or you could just take something out of your opponent's graveyard. Like, it's just In this deck specifically, because Spright Alpha isn't there and you need a bit of a grind game, I feel like this card is just beautiful. Double Spright Starter. This is going to free without shadow of a doubt. I'll probably take out the Hyperia for it just to be able to consistently see my Spright engine. But this card just, yeah, it goes without saying, ladies and gents. Triple Spright Starter, you definitely need to put that in. One Call by the Grave. This is a tier 2 rogue deck. You need to be able to stop hand traps. They cripple your deck a lot more than they would like more meta decks because it's more difficult to play through interruption. But this list actually does allow you to do that a little bit more. So this is more of a comfort pick for myself, to be honest. Triple Forbidden Droplets. The interaction between this and the twins is crazy. So if you normal summon a twin, and you go in second and they try and interact with the twin, I don't know whether that's like a negation from on board, I don't know, Baron de Fleur for example, or Infinite Impermanence, Sword Soul Chi Shao. You can actually chain Droplets, negate whatever's trying to negate your card, and Droplet sends for cost obviously, so that's off the board. You twin them resolves and then you bring out the other one, which would then resolve to then bring out another one from the deck, which is a nice little bit of an interaction, as well as you negating one of their monsters, or potentially even 2-3 of their monsters, depending on what you've got in your hand. So Droplets is really, really nice in this deck. One Gamma Burst. I like this card. A lot of lists don't play. I like to OTK, and this deck can OTK with, specifically with Gamma Burst. You're not potentially doing that with some of the other cards that you've got in your deck, because the live twin monsters are small. The biggest monster you've got in your deck is Pixies, I think, which is interesting. So you do need a way to kind of like beat over bigger monsters. So I do like Gamma Burst, just because once you've whittled your opponents out of resources, you tend to have like 2 bodies on board, and you can easily get like 3 bodies on board and just attack for like 25, 26, 27, whatever. And it does the job. So 1 Gamma Burst, 1 Smashers. Yep, goes without saying. Doubled Live Twin Stunny Snitch. Now, I didn't play Secret Password to be able to search this, just because I feel like Drow's a card. If I'm going to get Drowed, at least I can still somewhat set up a board if I get the initial search after Sunny Snitch. So, yeah, like I said, 2 Sunny Snitch, triple Infinite Impermanence, just all-round solid card, as well as the 1 Spright Double Cross. Now, this is like the main reason you end your board, because of the interaction between your live twin monsters, as well as more times than not you'll have a gigantic Spright on field. You can do, like, it's so flexible what you can do, and you can actually bring back your own monsters. So a couple of times I've just left this on field, my opponent hasn't interacted in a way where I needed to like shotgun it, and I've actually brought back like a Trouble Sunny, for example, and or just like a live twin link, and then revive the other live twin link at the graveyard, and I'm just off to the races again, which is just, it's crazy to say. So yeah, this card is absolutely busted. This is the first thing I search on my turn 1 with the Spright Jet, just because it just allows me to set up. So yeah, very nice card. You can actually side this out going second. So there's 3 cards that you can easily just side out immediately. You can take out, like, I don't know, you can take out Smashers or Pixies, depending on what the matchup is, just to be able to kind of like play basically, or just put in some board breakers. For the extra deck, 1 Zeus, 1 Typhon, goes without saying. Typhon's a fiend, so yep, say no more. 1 Mannequin Cat. This card's busted. Like, this and interaction between this and Archlord Christia, which is the reason why I've got Mannequin Cat in there. It's just, yeah, it's crazy. Like, it does so much. You can do a lot of things with Mannequin Cat. I'm trying to look for the equivalent of a kind of floodgatey type fire monster, just to be able to slow down my opponent, because fire decks are in the format at the moment, ladies and gents, so they're super, super powerful. You can actually bring back a Spright Red as well, because Spright Red's a fire, so keep that in mind. Double Gigantic Spright, you do 1 for your first turn, and you got 1 for follow-up. 1 Jin Buster. I don't actually make this too much, but the negation's nice. Ninja Shadow Mosquito. Yes, you will be able to OTK, ladies and gents, and there's instances where you do so. I believe you've seen in a replay me OTK like I think it was a Galaxy Eyes deck. Now, that's not going to happen too often because Galaxy Eyes isn't in the meta, but it just showcases the ability to be able to OTK if the situation presents itself. This could be any other card, but I feel like this card is so high impact, it can just win you the game on the spot. So I definitely vouch for Ninja Shadow Mosquito. 1 Trouble Sunny would be nice to have 2. Well, you kind of have 2 when you got Monster Reborn in your graveyard. 1 Unchained Abomination. again, I don't actually make this too much, but there are times when you're locked into Fiends and you haven't used Gigantic Spright, you haven't got access to Trouble Sunny, so this actually kind of fits the bill, so it works. It only takes 2 monsters as well, so both your Evil Twin Link monsters can actually like facilitate this card, so it's nice to have. One Sprint isn't used too much, mainly because of the way that the combos work. You'd normally dump in a Live Twin off Sprint to be able to then revive it from the graveyard and do your Live Twin plays, but you don't make it as much because you're not playing the nimble stuff basically. The two Evil Twin links, these two are crazy. It goes without saying. Just this is what your grind game is, ladies and gents. These two cards right here, you got a pop and a draw. You can continuously like proc these effects each turn, especially with the interaction between them and like Spright Red and Spright Carrot, being able to tribute them for cost, negating destroy, and then the other Live Twin link brings them back. It's just, yeah, Evil Twin Link brings them back. It's just crazy. So very, very good in the grind game, ladies and gents. As well as the one Muckraker. This can bring back any of your Evil Twin Links, as well as Evil Twin Trouble Sunny, which then can tag itself out and bring it back the 2 links, which I just think is just crazy. So definitely something worth keeping in mind, ladies and gents. Always a follow-up play. It's effectively another Monster Reborn, which again adds to the grind game, which is this deck's all about. Simplify the game state, OTK through Gamma Burst. So very, very strong deck. I do really enjoy it just because I love Live Twins and I quite like Spright, to be honest. But anyway, ladies and gents, that is it from me. If there's anything that you feel like I could include in this deck, definitely get at me in that comment section below. Always open to answers, texts and ideas, all that kind of stuff. And this is probably the last video before 2024, so make sure you have a great new year. I am off to get some gains at the gym, ladies and gents, and as always, we find ourselves at the end of another video. If you did like this content, you know what to do by now. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, all of that beautiful good stuff. Happy 2024, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.